Oh my goodness! And I'm saying there's a party.
Very colorful. I was just showing him earlier about the religious celebration. It is Ethiopia.
Very
Very
colorful.
colorful. And this one, another colorful event.
Yes, it was very nice. That's one of the biggest parties when I'm talking for New Orleans that they come to the D.C. area. They actually live in New Orleans. They bring a whole group of folks from that area, and they all, however they come, they fly. They put them in the hotel. They don't put them, but you, of course, you pay. But they stay at the Renaissance Hotel. They're gonna have, this is their second one. I did the first one. This is the second one. They're gonna have one next year. So please. You don't want to miss out on the fun, okay? Because when I say it was fun, it was a party. That's all I'm going to say, right? And so we want to give a big shout out to them. They call them the Crewy of the Pirates Mardi Gras Ball. It's the Renaissance Washington, D.C. Hotel. So I wanted to share that. And let's show some pictures real quick. I won't say all the names, but just a few of the photos from the event. And that was one of the singers. He did a fabulous job. He turned it out. Oh, my goodness. He had them going. We have some footage from it. That's me just posing, and that's me taking pictures with all my friends and all the singers and the artists. And these are the big, the first and the second, the presidents, the king and the queens, and the beautiful ladies with fabulous dresses. I say fabulous dresses. Greg, he is on the floor. Mr. Cooper, he's doing his thing. I had to show that picture right there. And as you can see from the photos, everybody was having a wonderful time. They were partying, they were entertained, they were dancing, they were moving around. They were having so much fun. When I say it's a party, I went to New Orleans for the first time, and I was I was looking forward to that party for real, right? I would have started partying with them a little bit earlier, starting on Thursday, but my schedule was crazy, and I had to get up real early on Saturday to actually do the Women's March. So I want to give a big shout out to them. Please join next year. Join us. We'd love to have you. But anyway, there's going to be lots of pictures that I'm going to share. They're going to share because I'm just the photographer, right? Not just, but I'm the videographer and the photographer. I did a whole lot. But let's move on to the Women's March, okay? Because we have some
an excellent disclaimer.
Right. I didn't say that, right? Well, that's Nancy Pelosi.
So you don't want to receive.
She was with the march.
Some tweets, right?
Right. So as you can see, this is the Women March. There was thousands of demonstrators that gathered across the city of the United States from Sunday of second day of the. This is the second march, right? They were calling for equality and respect, urging supporters to raise their voice in supporting and let us know that, voting this year for the midterm elections, please come out and vote because we need your support. We got to move this, how you say, move all the stuff that's going on. As you know, the government is shut down. And so I'm not blaming one over the other. It's a political piece. I'm not a politician or anything. I just know that I was marching and having fun.
That's a congresswoman.
And taking, yes, Lee. And so we had a wonderful time. So as you can see, I was with the VIPs. That's why you see some of the photos are forward and backwards. And then I actually was marching. So, and this was an attempt that they had for the Congress, women and men, and just kind of having fun. There was a lot of people that came out. Now, last year it looked like there was a lot more because we was in a condensed area, but there was a lot of folks that was out there marching. And look at that. That is so nice. You check it out how I did that photo with the march on Washington. And then I was actually at the Women's Democratic Club where we actually...
Were you a speaker?
Well, I was speaking because I was speaking to Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And all my fans, and Evelyn, she was marching, and I had to give a shout out to her. That is a cool picture. That shows that everybody, oh my goodness. And Mia Mason for Senate, she was in the House, and they had a drummers that was, when I say outstanding, they were outstanding. Oh my goodness. And so that's Miss Dr. Mitchum, she was in the building and she was representing, and, Congress senators and everybody from who's who was in there as well. So as you can see from the pictures, you'll recognize all the faces from the New York senators to who's who from whatever area they was out there and they were celebrating. So I want to give a big shout out. So if we showed those pictures, we're going to move right along because we have a special guest and we're up against time. But I don't want to forget, so I can show my other pictures. That's the best pictures, right? Oh my goodness, that picture is like really, really nice. But anyway, we're going to say a welcome over here very quickly. Then we're going to come back. I'm going to show the two pictures and we're going to come right back. So can we just introduce our special guest?
Go ahead and introduce her. You know her very well.
Well, I know, but let's get her.
She's a friend for everybody.
Well,
I don't have to do it.
well, we're going to introduce her. his guest is in the building right about now.
She's
Miss
our guest.
Beth is our guest, and we
That's
just
right.
love her to death. I mean, we just love the work that she's doing, and we want to say welcome to
Thank
On
you.
the Scene
Thank
today.
you.
My
Thank you.
goodness, so happy to have you here.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm
From the
Beth, I'm Beth
science-
Akiyama.
The
From Washington,
name-
She's the
DC.
national director of Church of Scientology.
There you go. See, I didn't want to mess it up, so I was trying to get him to get that, title in there,
And
right?
and she's very, very popular, especially within the diaspora community. All these meetings, several of the meetings, including religious, historical, you name it, she
Right.
always give us a space. So we're very, very appreciative of her.
We
Sure.
love her. She
Yeah.
sure does. Even though I didn't have my event over there,
Yeah.
but it was okay. I did have the event,
Okay.
but
A couple of months ago, she received a special award from an Ethiopian TV show, for her. So, if yesterday I attended the special event for Miss Africa USA.
I was supposed to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
was her
missed it.
special
It was
guest. But
very good.
they called me in early, so
Yeah.
that's why. Was you there? Did you go?
No, I didn't, but I love Miss Africa USA.
Oh my
and
goodness!
they've
She
held many
called
of their
me.
contests and different events at
Yeah.
our
You
place,
missed it.
which
So
is
what
I
you-
missed
wonderful.
it.
Yeah, what you notice is they are really helping the young generation.
That's
The Miss
great.
Tanzania,
Wow.
the Miss Africa,
They
you
all
name
there?
it. All the time they come and use this wonderful location. We call it our mansion. It is called
The
Were they
Fraser
at there?
Mansion.
Were they at the
Yeah,
Fraser Mansion?
Oh,
Well, they have-
absolutely,
they have
yeah.
many
Oh,
For
I
years,
thought they was
yeah.
uptown. I thought they
Not,
was
not
Silver
for the event
Springs.
recently.
From
Many
yesterday,
other
but
events, but
many,
not the
many,
recent,
many.
not the one you're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about.
Because if they was down there, I would have sure made it. But I thought they were all the way in Silver Springs, and there was no way that I could get from A to Z. But before we go, very quickly, I do not want to forget because I want to just show the pictures from the MLK very quickly,
Sure.
very
Sure.
fast. So can we just show the MLK photos because, of course, we all celebrated that on Monday, and so we do not want to forget the King. Absolutely, Martin Luther King and the son and everybody else that was there, Harry Johnson, and this is the daughter and the family, of course, and Darrell Sims, he was with us as well. He had Mr. President, the book, and so these are folks that were singing at the monument. They were actually laying a wreath down there on Monday, and so that was very, very nice, and Denise and some friends and everybody else included. And I was just there, and it was a cold, cold day. I was so glad yesterday it wasn't cold, because I'm telling you, it was a lot of walking, and we were outside for days, it felt like. But it was just for a few hours. But anyway, that was one cold day. We want to give a bigger shout out to Martin Luther King Jr. and and for what he stood for, and
Yeah.
also for the family and what they're doing, moving it forward, and for what the world is doing. Forget all of that, right? But the world is doing, because we love Martin Luther King, and happy birthday to the King. But anyway, very quickly, very fast, if we can just move along, I just want to say one other big shout out to Proud Mary, the movie. I was actually on the scene for that, and it was the movie premiere was held in Virginia, right around the corner from my house. So I was actually able to go to the movie premiere. So can I just show those pictures very quickly? That's Pastor Winston and Jaha Winston, the star of Proud Mary movie. Renee Jeffries was actually my Betsy. She was hanging out with Miss Denise, and so we were just on the scene doing our thing. And no, not that picture. Now we're mixing them up. We're going back and forth, right? And that's the young son of Pastor Winston. He is actually one of the major stars in the flick. So we just want to give a shout out to all who in Proud Mary, and they did a fabulous job. But anyway, so moving right along, and we're gonna hand the mic over to you and have you take over from here.
Okay,
And
great.
say welcome.
Thank
and we want to
you.
see all the fun
Welcome,
stuff that
I
you're
know,
doing. We just
I
love
know.
it that
You're on a roll with all this
Right.
news. You have so much news to tell. It's fantastic.
I do.
It's
yes,
great. It's
yes.
great. It's great. And yes, and I've loved working with you over the years. And what we had recently that was sort of the hot news item for today. I work on a lot of different things with you,
know
and it's
you
wonderful.
are.
But the one thing that we just did was a human rights exhibit. Citizens Commission on Human Rights is an
Wow.
organization that was started in 1969 to fight for the rights of mental patients and to fight against abusive practices in that field. So I have this is a little brochure that shows what Citizens Commission on Human Rights is, and there's actually a website, cchr.org or cchrint.org, about the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, which we call
Wow.
CCHR for short, because that's a mouthful. But the Citizens Commission on Human Rights has a wonderful human rights exhibit, and it's a traveling exhibit, and just came to Washington for a few days this past weekend, and it was at the Marriott Marquis. Not Marriott Marquis. That's a
these are
different
some
one.
of the
That's
photos. Oh, that's
it
a
was at
different
the
one?
Marriott Wardman Park
Oh, it
hotel.
wasn't there,
Sorry.
right. Okay, that's
And
okay.
this
Uh-huh.
was this shows the different parts of the exhibit.
This is it, part of it?
Yeah,
okay,
these
okay.
photos are the exhibit itself and the
Okay.
people looking through the exhibit.
Wow.
And it shows you the different areas that it covers, which people need to be aware that sometimes when kids are overactive in school, or if you're having difficulty, even difficulty in your own life or difficulty
Right.
with children, that women especially need to be very empowered with the information to know the truth about the amount of marketing that is done in this
Right.
area, that
Right.
people are given drugs because it's actually, there's a great deal of marketing that happens to tell people that they need drugs. And so the drug companies are actually working in cahoots with some of the doctors.
Oh, I
to
know
say
they
that
are.
you need these
Yeah,
drugs
you do. And
when
then
in
you
fact
use them,
you
do
actually
not.
don't, there aren't any
Right.
tests for them or this or that.
Right.
Now occasionally, of
Right.
course, people need to have drugs for things.
Right. They
But-
give you all kind of stuff, and it's pointless because that's not even what you need. You need it for. So I understand.
That's right.
You
That's
have to
right.
ask a lot of questions when they're giving you these drugs.
That's absolutely
and
true.
you don't always
and
take them. I know I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that, right? My mother used to take them, and she used to throw them in the garbage. She was, I'm not taking that.
True.
And I go, why did you throw it in the garbage? She goes, they're giving me too much. So I understand.
I understand that too. I understand. And
Now I
and if
understand.
someone
Then I
comes and
did
sees
it.
your child for 5 or 10 minutes or
Right.
20-minute interview and automatically says they need to be on a drug every day
Oh,
for a long
no.
time, that is
No.
probably way too quick.
Right.
And although the drug may initially help them and make them feel happier or more focused, it can have long-term effects. Just like if you
them,
took
right.
steroids to make yourself better physically, you would
right.
find out that you'd be having a lot of trouble later from taking these kind of drugs. So it's really important for people to get the truth and know about what the underlying thing is that there is actually a lot of collusion between the doctors and the drug companies
Right.
on these. And the drug companies have excellent marketing. That's what they do. They sell their
Right,
products.
They sell their products.
and
exactly right.
and they do that, and they
Right.
don't always think about the long range effects
They
of it.
don't. It's
So
just like
we-
when the
we have to
kids
be
in the
vigilant.
school system, they actually put them on Ritalin.
Yes.
And then I'm waiting to see what it's gonna, come up because there's so many kids on it. Like, my kids were growing up, they wanted the same thing.
Yeah.
They wanted to put one of them on it. And I says, how many students in the classroom are on it? They said half. I'm like, half?
Wow.
Well, he's not gonna be in that half.
Yeah,
You
and
can
Ritalin
forget
is
it.
it's the same
It's the
same
same?
category of drugs as cocaine. So you certainly
Really?
wouldn't think about putting your child on an amphetamine like
Oh,
that.
my. But they do,
for-
and in
yes.
Fairfax, I mean, I don't need to call them out like that, but I know in the school system, they throw those kids on it right away.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's a shortcut, and it actually is not fair to the children.
No, it's
They need
not
to be
because
able
their
to grow
parents
up.
put them on it, yeah, and they don't have no.
and they don't
really
know
say if
because
they
the doctors
don't.
tell them this is the thing to do,
Right.
and maybe the doctors are getting information from drug companies that say this is the
This
thing
is
to
what
do.
they need.
But then you're on
yeah.
Ritalin for your life, or for many years.
Or many years,
So
and you don't
that's-
know the side effects.
that's a lot. Yeah.
They're
So
gonna
how
have
would-
it come
How
up.
would
yeah.
the parents can find out about these things?
Well, on the cchrint.org website,
Uh-huh,
that's for Citizens Commission on Human Rights International,
right.
they have compiled a great deal of information there, like
Wow.
the largest composite of information
Mm-hmm.
about psychiatric drugs. So you can look them up, you can find out what the drug is. There's many, many, many different drugs. So
Mm-hmm. Right.
it's hard to know. They might say, oh, I'm not on Ritalin, but you could be on another drug
Something
very
else
similar. So it's like
Right. It's
almost
not
the same
Ritalin,
thing.
no. Right,
Yeah, exactly. So you
exactly,
can't just go
right.
by the brand name. But if
Right.
if you want to look on that website for the drugs that your kids may be on, or that other people are on, or yourself looking at, then you can get all the information. Because
Right.
there's side effects that are really very, very difficult.
Right.
They need to be known. It's side effects such as
Absolutely.
suicidal thoughts. If you're
Right.
already depressed or you're already feeling you have an issue, and then you take a
what
drug
you-
that makes you feel suicidal,
Oh
you
my
better know that
God.
it's the drug that makes you feel that way,
That's
and
right.
not that you now feel even
Feel
worse. In
worse,
spite
right.
of taking drugs, you feel worse, and that
Right.
would be a real downward spiral of life. You would not want
Wow.
to go in that direction.
So tell me,
So-
is that part of that?
Yeah, this
what
is
they
a-
talked about at the event?
Yeah, at the exhibit,
Right,
we talked
exhibit.
about attention hyperactivity
Oh,
disorder,
my.
which is also often just childhood.
Right. So
There's
the
some of the
youth,
symptoms of it
yeah.
are like jumping out of line,
Wow.
talking out of turn.
But those are
these
just
are things kids
doing
do,
what they
right?
do, Yeah, really,
yeah.
But they call
And
that.
it's very subjective. Who says it's too much? Who says you're too active?
Right.
You
They're
know what
bored.
cultures are different, right? Different
Right,
cultures.
right.
You can be kind of really unsettling to people of a different culture.
That's right.
But that should not make a difference. You gotta. People are
I
different.
think,
Wow, wow.
if I correctly remember now, I'm an older man, I might
Right. You're not
You
that
had the
old.
same event at the Congressional Black Caucus. Are you
That's
working
right.
with the Congressional Black Caucus, with the Congress? Are they helping you? Are they?
You know,
Is
we
there
have
anything going
worked with them over the years with the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, has worked to actually outlaw things. There's actually been a need to outlaw such things as electric shock treatment on children.
Oh my goodness.
Children under
They
the
have
age
that
of
doing that
5.
now?
Under the age of 5. Right now, the
What?
NAACP has made a resolution that we should not shock children between the ages of 0 and 5.
Are they doing that?
They are. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh, my
and,
goodness,
And it's for
wow.
autism or for hyperactivity
Oh,
or
my
different things.
goodness,
But this
wow.
is very dangerous and has not been proven to be safe and effective.
I'm sure.
Even
it
though it's
ruins their
still on the
brains
market,
more.
simply they
Yeah.
started doing electric shock in the 30s,
Right.
and the one flew over the cuckoo's nest with electric
Oh, I
shock, that
remember
type
that.
of thing.
Oh,
It
that's
actually-
what they do?
It's 100,000
Oh,
people a year in the
my.
United States get electric shock treatment.
Oh my goodness.
And
so
the reason
sad.
it's different today is only because they sedate the patient so much more,
And then
so they
do
don't
it.
jump around on the table. But it's really,
Oh my.
yeah, it's
But they do
it's
it when they
horrific.
sedate them, then they do it.
Yeah,
What?
So the National
Yeah.
Affairs Office, are you advocating on these issues?
I need to advocate on
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, NAACP has
Teaching,
come out
yeah.
against these things and
Right.
against drugging of foster children also because they
that.
get
Foster kids?
yeah about 50% of foster children are drugged because they are very usually they do have very rough situations
They have a
they're
rough
coming from.
situation. Yeah,
They are
right.
emotionally need extra help, but that should just be given
Wow.
to them, not drugs.
Oh no, right.
And it's not it's not
'Cause
on
they
the
wanna-
foster parents. Many times they get the children already drugged, so
They
you know,
already
it's
right.
difficult.
Oh
but
my.
the thing that is the ray of hope is
Oh.
that there is this website, Citizens Commission on Human Rights, and the
Right.
cchrint.org website with the information
Okay.
about the drugs, so people can find out how
Wow.
to deal with them and how to also help your children if they need to come off the drugs. They need to do that very sensibly too.
Because
So would
parents
you-
really don't know.
Would you repeat the webpage so that
We're
people
gonna
can
show
see
that right
Yeah,
there.
so this
Sure,
one this one shows cchr.org, and this pack of information can be gotten for free on that website.
So
And
you need
then
to get involved.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and find
yeah.
out.
There's
And
a lot
then-
of people who want to get involved in them.
that's
sure.
right. And your
Yeah.
children should not be forced or be,
Right.
shamed or anything into taking
True.
these drugs.
Oh, my kids
Children are
won't even
different,
take it
and
anyway.
and it can be
Tylenol's
hard.
the
It
only
can
thing.
be. And you have a friend here in
Right.
CCHR that will help you
Oh,
to
wow.
handle it if someone is trying to say
That
that
is
your
true.
child
Do they
needs
go
these.
into the schools, or then they don't let them go into the schools to talk about it?
We definitely can.
program
Yeah,
you
we
can?
definitely can. We can
Right.
talk
To-
anywhere.
yeah, to let the students know.
That's
you
right.
know?
Let the
Yeah,
teachers and the
that
students
they
know.
have rights.
That's right.
and
that's
so
right.
that would be one of them.
That's right. Exactly.
amazing.
Wow.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
I think we're almost.
Do you have a few minutes?
Yeah, but I want to say a few things.
Oh, sure.
We're gonna invite you next time.
Okay,
We'll give
great.
you more time, but we gave you very short notice. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm glad I had a chance to come.
We
It was
learned
really
a lot
great
today
to-
on that. My
Thank you.
goodness. Well,
Thank you for having me.
and visit on my Facebook page. I'm going to actually put that on the Patricia McDougall.
Wonderful.
Absolutely, because I'm for that.
Your
People need to know.
Famous
Yeah.
Facebook is, everybody gets it now.
Everybody?
More people knows you when they took
Oh,
appointed
because
than
of
me,
you?
Yeah.
Vice versa in her. We all connect. That's what social media is all about.
Well, we
Connect
connect
each other.
very well.
That's right.
Lida, could you put that what's that?
Photo?
I sent you one picture.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Continuing our discussion, we are
Yes.
planning to start this year's the first ETO Mixer USA.
Mm-hmm.
The award-winning ETO Mixer USA will be held in on H Street.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure it out. You can
Okay.
get it?
The pictures? Yeah. Okay.
On H Street, a place
Mm-hmm.
called Uni Bistro. It's a place which is tucked between two famous Ethiopian cafe and restaurant on H Street, 403. So we're gonna have that. We begin with that, the ETO Mixer USA, and on the February 19, we'll have another event educating about the Pan-African and the rest of the people about the first Addis Ababa massacre, where over 30,000 Ethiopians were massacred in 3 days at the Second World War. And also on the 27th, we're gonna have the celebration of the Black History Month in conjunction with you guys. I believe you have reserved for us, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So next
wow.
month we're gonna have
a
about
big
3
thing.
or 4
Yeah.
events before
Wow.
March 12, where we do our wreath laying ceremony with the African American Civil War Memorial. As you know,
Of
we've been
course,
working with them for a long
yeah,
time.
a long time.
And
yeah.
they will be the first one to do the first Black History Month on the first, which we're gonna post it for them. We have been closely
Very
working with them. We
nice.
did about 11 wreath laying ceremonies in front of the African Americans.
Yes, he has.
So what we are trying to do is we are trying to teach people what happened in the past, because now we have the best time we can connect. We have the media. We cannot complain that we are not connecting, because we want to teach people what happened in the past. So please preview the Little Ethiopia magazine. It's called littleethiopia.org. I'll repeat, littleethiopia.org. And if you have any questions, email me at littleethiopia@gmail.com.
You're
So the
doing
last
wonderful
word.
things with
Thank
little
you.
E.T. He's doing wonderful things. I want to commend him on his magazine. I mean, you'll definitely have to visit it because he covers a lot of work right there. I mean, I thought I covered stuff on social media, but he actually has that magazine. So I commend you for that. It's almost a year now that he's been on the show.
By the
and
way-
he's doing a wonderful job.
By the way, do you know Miss Salome is at the film festival now?
Yes,
was
yes,
guest
the
last
actress,
year,
the
yeah.
one that was on as a guest. She's actually traveling
Yeah.
to the what is it?
The
called?
Sundance.
The
Film Festival.
Sundance, yes, yeah, she's doing a wonderful job. But anyway, I'm so glad that you actually were able to come on and talk about all
Well,
the fun
thank
stuff
you.
that you're doing, and we love to have you here, and we're gonna have you come back again because I know you're doing so much over there. I mean, I remember when I first started going there. Now I just seem like I'm more involved, and it's so you know you think of it as a scientific. What is it called? Just the exact words for
The
that?
Church of Scientology?
So
or-
you think
yeah.
that it's all it is goes on there. It's like something related to that.
Right.
For some odd reason, that's how, because it's a church, right? But you have so much going on over there.
Yeah, it's our National
amazing.
Affairs Office.
It
So
is.
we
Oh, is
reach
that
out
what it
for
is?
a
I mean, you
lot
know,
of
when I
different
look at it,
subjects.
when people say the
yeah.
church and they say it's a
Yeah.
church,
It
but
has
That's the
become
one
an
on DuPont, in
international
DuPont
center.
Circle.
it is.
Literally
It's
an
short.
international
Oh my
center.
goodness! I
You
remember when I
have the Ethiopian,
Yes.
I mean everybody, the Ethiopian,
Well, we're
the
gonna have to get
Nigerian,
some-
the Italian, or the Caribbean, even the Congress. Some state also come over there. It's become an international center.
We got
There's
to
a lot
get-
of activities going on.
Well, we're gonna have to get Belize in there too and get something.
That's
on that,
right.
Please. We
Oh,
got something
yes.
for you. But anyway, we want to say
Okay.
thank you so much for tuning in today. Patricia McDougall on the scene with Tamara and Midden and also Beth and
Akiyama.
Akiyama. I have to make sure I say her name.
I know.
Thank you and welcome and tune in every Sunday at 2:00. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
2:00.